Requesting all to switch off their videos as well as mute their mics. We have 40 people right now joining. We'll wait for 30 seconds to let more people join. Happy to see more people are coming here. Hi everyone. I guess we have kind of enough participants to start off with. So primarily, I will share my screen. Sumit this side. I've started the organization called Geospatial Awareness Hub. Give me a moment. I'm sharing my screen. I hope you guys can see my screen. And if any one of you couldn't see anything, or if you have any questions, please text us or message us on the chat box that is given in the Zoom. So welcome to Geospatial Awareness Hub. This is our first experience to attend and organize an event, a webinar. Geospatial Awareness Hub is basically into creating awareness about geospatial technology in each and every sector of the industry. And one of the main part which we are trying to do is education, employment, and business. So if you can go through our website, you will get to see the things that we are doing, and we are writing very good articles for you to get understanding of different people down the line. So talking about the speaker today, our speaker today is Sanjay Mohan sir. He is retired Army colonel. He did BTech and MTech. He did BTech in civil engineering as well as MTech in remote sensing and GIS from Indian Institute of Remote Sensing. So he has done around 3 decades of services, out of which more than 1 decade of service he was into geospatial services. So from doing digital maps as well as military surveys using traditional equipments, all of that being done by him for last 10 years, and currently he is a freelancer, cartographer as well as GIS analyst. So most of the career he spent in the army services. His major experiences lies in location intelligence and cartography using Leica, Trimble, and different enterprises, as well as open source softwares and hardware materials. Uh, Last but not least, I have this guidelines for people. If you have any questions, please type it into chat box, and please be on mute. Second is, so we can occupy only 100 people right now. So if people increase beyond that, we will be recording this particular webinar, and then it will be posted onto our YouTube channel. We will try to, if there are any questions we cannot answer right now due to time, we'll try to post it through email. We request you all to take a selfie while attending this particular webinar. So you can use LinkedIn, FB, and Instagram, so that let people know that you have attended the session, as well as you can tag Geospatial Awareness Hub into that. The certificates of this particular webinar will be provided within a week after the service is being provided. So I will ask Sanjay Mohan sir to take up from now, and I'm making him host. Sanjay Mohan sir, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Sumed. I am Colonel Sanjay Mohan, and I'm so thankful for you to organize this particular webinar, and also to the 48 participants. I can see 48 participants now, that they have spared their time to attend this particular webinar. Thank you so much. So coming on to the brass tacks, I will straight away share the screen with you of the presentation. Yeah, hopefully you can see now. And yeah. Okay. The presentation today is on digital cartography and evolution of location intelligence. Okay. So these are, I hope you are not seeing one particular 4 people have entered the waiting room this meeting. I will just, escape it and do a bit of it. Just a sec. I'm so sorry. There is another meeting was on, so I will just remove that. Okay, and I will just, yeah, no, it is okay. There is some, no problems. Okay. So now I hope you can see the screen. Sumed, can you see the screen now properly? Okay. All right. So this is, a common thing that nowadays you see on your mobiles, that you are safe, and this is not okay. And the technologies which are working behind this is the locational technologies. And coming on to planning your trip, you just take your mobile and takes a less than a minute on Google Maps, and later on maybe they will be introducing that you plan your trip through non-COVID areas. So all this, the thing behind what is working is the locational technologies. Here you can have a look at where you were, say, in the last year, like we had been to Europe and all. So all these things are there. So how these locational technologies have been developing. The presentation today I will be covering in the following sequence. First, we will just look at the historical reference. Then coming on to the digital cartography, how it transformed. Then locational intelligence, definition and the evolution of locational intelligence. Coming on to the usage of location intelligence, then we will be coming on to various uses in the industry today, and then the future, and finally the conclusion. So coming on to the first one, the historical reference. Now, locational intelligence is not new. It is old. And the oldest map image that you can see is the Babylonian world map. Now, this was on a stone tablet that the map was prepared. So the mapping is as old as the Stone Age. Now, coming on to the first known instance of locational intelligence, and that is John Snow cholera map. And that was done in 1854, and which has the following details. First, an accurate representation of the street network. Then the locations of the hand pumps used to get water from, because cholera is a waterborne disease. So this John Snow was a doctor, and he was looking as how the epidemic of cholera is spreading in the area of London. So he got on to locational intelligence at that time in the year 1854. And the locations where the deaths from cholera occurred. So he used locational intelligence, and how you can have a look at the John Snow cholera map now. So here it is, the cholera map. We will just see the fuller version of it so that you can see it better. Here you are. This map, can you see it here? Okay. Yeah. So here you see a Broad Street map. In this, there are the streets marked, and you can see the location of the pump. Okay. Just a sec, I have to just go back to the, there is some screen on top which has come. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Right. So this is how the John Snow, Dr. John Snow could pinpoint as to the location of the cholera incidents and use the locational technologies. Now coming on to digital cartography. So digital cartography, as we can see, it is a synonym of digital mapping, and primarily the science of making a computer map complete with symbology for easy understanding and referencing. It was popular in the 80s and 90s on various CAD engines. And these CAD engine was basically the MicroStation. There were other MicroStation software also. Digitization of hard copy maps through manual and assisted tracing, updation using satellite imagery. So these were the basic means how the digitization was done for the maps, and how the digital maps were produced. In India, basically the data created was conforming to a digital vector data standard, and this digital vector data standard was designed by the Survey of India. And at that time, they thought the GIS data was not so popular. Why? Because it was so cumbersome to produce. It required a lot of accuracy. So most of the Survey of India digital mapping data which was CAD data and not GIS data. I hope you understand what is CAD data. There's computer aided design data, which is basically where line symbology is used to depict a map, and not the GIS data where there is a feature class which is attached to the data. So coming on to further development of the digital cartography, you can see it here. The government agency which was behind this was the Survey of India, and as late as 2014, it was still producing DGN files. DGN file means design files of microstation, and GIS data per se was not produced. And also, the Survey of India produced the hard copy map. So that was considered to be the primary task and not the GIS data. However, now the Survey of India has migrated to GIS layers, but still it is a kind of a midway between GIS and CAD. And also, in case you look at India, the GIS data availability has been made possible by openstreetmaps.org. I have been using GIS data from openstreetmaps.org for a long time now and creating maps with this. Okay, now coming on to our main theme, that is the locational intelligence, its definition and its evolution. Okay, cartography is the science of where. Okay, cartography is the science of what is where. GIS is the science of what, where, and when. And the locational intelligence, what is the science? This is the science of what, where, when, and how. So let us now apply it to the John Snow map. Want to see how the locational intelligence was applied in the John Snow map and how he derived the incidence of the disease and how he controlled it. The cartographic map displays the streets of London. So that is the science of what is where. Overlaying cholera deaths with the location of hand pumps complete what, where, and when. And the epidemic got controlled by shutting off the offending pump, which is the answer to the locational intelligence, that is the how. I will just show you the offending pump. So here it is. This pump in the middle, that is at the Broad Street, in case you see around it, there are parallel lines you can see. Now these parallel lines signified the number of deaths. These parallel lines, black thick lines which are parallel. So this showed John Snow that these areas have been affected by the water from this particular pump. And by just shutting off this particular pump, the epidemic was controlled. Okay, now online maps, they facilitated the use of locational intelligence. Online maps that you use today, we don't even know how easy it has become, the life with the online maps. You can you can go from place A to place B, you can find out the time. However, the technologies that are behind this are naturally the locational intelligence. Actually, I find this participation, 47 people are there, so this keeps disturbing the screen actually. Okay, the geospatial technologies, they served a kind of a niche clientele, and that is the government, the military, and the academia, as the geographic data was prohibitively expensive. At that time, I had once sent a query for the geographic data of a city of the size of Bangalore, and the cost was 4,000 That was the kind of cost that was of a GIS data. Now, in 2005, Google Maps, they, with their intuitive mapping API, opened the GIS domain for almost everyone. And locational intelligence could be used with business intelligence. Why? Because now it is available for everyone to use without any cost, without any prohibitive cost which was associated with the geographic data earlier. And in 2012, there was the first course on locational intelligence, which was opened at the University of Texas by Wayne Geary, and the process of identifying the optimal location to promote business success. So that was the way the locational intelligence has been evolving over the years since the development or since the advent of Google Maps in 2005. Otherwise, probably locational intelligence would have been more with the academia, more with the government, more with the military, but not with the common people, like we and a lot of people who are using nowadays in the business and everywhere, which would not have been possible had Google Maps had not been there. Okay. Now coming on to the another very, uh, you know, uh, very important aspect of locational intelligence, that why it became so common use, it was because the GPS. And earlier, the GPS accuracy was almost plus minus 100 meters. Why? Because there were two kinds of signals which were, which were propagated by the US. One was called the P code, that was for the military use and for the US government use. And the second was the SA code, which had almost about plus minus 100-meter error. And that was the one which was used for civilians. Okay. So this particular error could be nullified through DGPS. However, the SA errors would not be allowing for the use by surveyors and others, the way we use now in our mobile phones. So in 2005, Clinton administration, it switched off the SA code and GPS became straight away plus minus 10-meter accurate for all. And it marks the beginning of a new era in the locational technologies. And we got the Google Maps, GPS, smartphones with GPS, and the whole lot of kinds of usage which was developed on top of the GPS and locational technologies. Now, how the locational logs are being produced nowadays. Apart from GPS, the locational logs that are being generated, which are being used in the locational technologies, are ATM. The moment you use an ATM at a certain location, that is logged. Purchase history using a credit card, even that is logged. Where you bought a certain substance, where you bought a certain merchandise, that is being logged by various card companies. Then traveling with a FASTag through a toll plaza, using an open or public open to public Wi-Fi, mobile phone locations, taking a picture with GPS tag, surveillance cameras, email, Facebook, Instagram, Google search, everywhere. These are the kind of places where your logs are being created and you are being tagged, you are being surveyed, you are being fully in surveillance. Okay, coming on to usage of locational intelligence today. First is retail planning. Determine available stores and their reach potential. I will just go through it very fast. I will not, dwell much on it because I don't think we have much more time available with us now. Analyze customer traffic and shopping behavior. Deepen customer understanding and rich user experience. Post-COVID change requirement. Impetus on open areas, social distancing, and hygiene. This also can be achieved by locational technologies. Impetus on open areas, social distancing, and hygiene. Then example case is one-way calamity. Now I will just dwell on this one-way calamity, just a bit. Here it is. Now, what you see here on the screen now is the map of an area from my neighborhood in Bangalore itself. Now, if you see, I'll use a pointer here and just kind of with use of a pen. Now, if you see here in the bottom portion, you will see one store was there at that time. It was the Apple City store. And if you notice just the road, now this road was, although there was divider, but it was broken at many places. So one could just go over there and then take a U-turn and go in the areas where the residential, people were there in this area, in these areas. So people could easily go here. So that was the case when this I am not able to switch off the pen. I don't know why. Just a sec. There is some problem with the. Yeah. So now what happens? The second store comes up, and that is the Rolla store. Can you see in the north? Means in the top area, there is the Rolla store, and also in the bottom, the road gets closed, and it becomes a one-way. This led to the clientele dropping so much that the Apple City store was closed. It had to close because there was no clientele available after some time because of the one-way. So I call it one-way calamity. Coming on to the usage of locational intelligence on real estate, determine existing infrastructure, advantages and limitations to identify investment opportunities, improve property utilization, analyze future prospects in demand, co-locating various businesses depending on increase in the demand or even going demand becoming lesser and lesser. Then creating new residential layouts to maximize utilization of existing. Understand movement in and around a particular commercial center and with a walkable score. Nowadays, in US and all, they are giving walkable scores and livability scores to various residential location. How livable that is, how walkable that is, means how many amenities are available to them in walkable distance. For example, a school, a shopping center, maybe a dispensary, or maybe a hospital. So they get a better walkable score. So that particular neighborhood is categorized in a higher category of pricing, and the neighborhood which has got lower walkable score, so the pricing becomes lower for that. So this is all again based on locational intelligence. This is the kind of usages that you can derive from. Now coming on to transportation sector, it is one of the major beneficiaries of locational intelligence. Ola, Uber, Lyft, and many other ride sharing apps. Then it can lead to what all assessment you can do of the transportation network with the locational intelligence and benefits to the users and transporters. There are, you must have heard about the Uber surge pricing. Now that again is based on locational technologies. I have given the a link here, which if you can search on the Google, you can come to know how the surge pricing is calculated, again based on locational technologies.
Hello, Sanjay sir.
Yeah.
With the time limit that we have only 10 minutes left. So
yeah. I'll just finish it off now. It
sure.
is just going to be finishing in another five odd minutes. Yes.
That's so people, if you have any questions, you can send it into the chat box that we have. Thank you.
Okay, coming on to disaster, epidemic, and disaster management and epidemic management. In the planning stage, in the execution stage, everywhere locational technologies are the ones which are helping us. And now, as we can see in the COVID, this is the locational technologies that I showed you the first screen, wherein you come to know that yes, you are safe. So this also is based on locational technologies. Communication industry is one of the major industries which is utilizing the communication technology, the locational intelligence, for understanding the power of where, and also the answer in how to reach, how to localize outages, for example, your broadband, or even your communication through mobile services and all. This locational technologies is helping. The other industries are financial services, education, hotels and restaurants, bistros, coffee chains. They are just, for example, Starbucks is utilizing locational technologies in finding out locations which will be the best suitable locations for the Starbucks. And future of locational intelligence, this is the kind of the market which is today available. In 2020, 18 billions, and it is going to grow to 40 billion US dollars in 2025. In just 5 years, it is going to almost double, more than double actually. And even COVID-19, it is opening a lot of avenues for locational intelligence. Maybe it may be closing also some of the older ones. And this is the Dresner Advisory Services, which has issued a report on locational intelligence. They have done a market study, and this particular is available for almost about $595. This is available, and I'll just flash some of the slides from them. Importance of locational intelligence by vertical industry, government, healthcare, business services. Then here it is by locational intelligence by function, and this is the locational intelligence use cases, where it is being used: data visualization, site planning, site selection, geomarketing. And here, prioritized visualization features, map-based visualization data or whatever. And analytical features, how locational intelligence contributes in analytical analysis of various kinds of data, and how locational intelligence is integrated with commercially available GIS technologies. Google, 61%. That's why Google Maps are the ones which are being used more in locational technologies and market study. And then Esri or ArcGIS, it is 45%. And similarly, others you can come on to Carto and TomTom and others at 2% or whatever. So this is the, and I'm just concluding, there is very, very important issue that is privacy concern. This is the study done by Dr. Robert P. Minch, and he says location information collection, location information retention. How long will the location information be kept by these people in case they are using it? For example, in the COVID, in the Arogya Setu app, how long will your information be kept with them? And then how will the information be used? And then disclosure, to whom it will be disclosed, location information, because this is a private information. So there are a lot of concerns about privacy. So that's about all. And so I finished.
Yeah. Sorry, Sanjay sir, because of the available time slot that we have right now was 40 minutes from Zoom side, because we are using the open source version of it. So there are two questions which we can answer really quick. Rest questions will be answered through email. First question regarding PPT. So this overall session will be posted on YouTube, as I said. Second question is the PPT will be shared to the people through email ID that we have received. Apart from that, the question is, what are the softwares that you use to practice location intelligence in disaster management? So this is the question you can.
Achha. Now this question has been asked by someone. Huh? Okay, in disaster management, basically disaster management, there is not a one specific particular software is not used. It is a combination of softwares. And the primary software for disaster management which we use is ArcGIS and Google Maps also. Google Maps are the ones which give us the route and other information, and ArcGIS also can be utilized for in case we have the GIS data available now, that major primary reason in India for non-penetration of GIS is the non-availability of good quality GIS data. Yeah, any other question?
So may I know how location intelligence helps in glacier monitoring and in places like Himalayas?
Okay, locational intelligence in glacier monitoring. Now, glaciers have a certain speed at which they flow or they travel at a certain speed. Now, the locational intelligence is used for determining the speed of the glacier. In case the speed of the glacier increases, it means it is becoming, means it is melting. Actually, this is what the kind of inference that you draw if the speed is increasing. If the speed is slowing down, it means the glacier is becoming heavier, and that's why it is becoming bigger or larger in size. So the locational intelligence is used to measure the speed by taking by taking the measurements of same location in two different in two different time zones. So
Definitely.
using GPSs, yeah.
Yeah. One of the question is regarding again disaster management. How
Yeah.
location information can be beneficially attribute for establishing early warning system in disaster management?
Yeah, disaster management. Yeah, this is very beautiful because the early warning systems, the major disaster which had happened recently in India, or not so recently, but rather 10 years back, it was the tsunami. So after the tsunami, the locational intelligence has been used in setting up various signaling devices which will give the signal of an impending wave at what speed the wave is traveling. So this information is then transposed into the map, and we come to know before any earthquake wave or the tsunami waves comes onto the land as to what is the speed of the wave, how and when it is going to land on the shore. So locational intelligence is used for setting up these kinds of signals or signal devices. Anything else? Hello.
We have one more question.
Yeah.
As a geologist, what are the tasks we can give to a digital cartographer? For this question, we have only 1 minute left. So after this,
Okay.
we have to end. Yeah.
Okay. To a cartographer, you want task to begin geologist. Hello.
As a cartographer, so as a geologist, what are the digital cartography tasks which are allotted?
As a cartographer, you can kind of designate certain areas. Geologist, in case you are dealing with mines, which all minerals are available in certain areas. So those are the things which can be cartographer can design those maps and show as to which all things are available in various places.
Yeah. So that's it. Those are the only questions. For the rest questions, like there are more than 3 to 4 questions that we have. We will try to answer them through email because we only have 30 seconds left. We would like to say thank you to you for being on the first presenter as a on the panel of Geospatial Awareness Hub. We'll be trying to have
so much.
many more sessions, and we'll be trying to have enterprise versions of this all the software, so that we will have long lasting sessions. Apologies for that. So we will be uploading this.
There's a lot of this screen popping up was happening, so that's why it was a little bit disturbing. That's why some